Hey everyone! Today I'll be talking about what's coming in the next update of Tanks the Crusades, version 1.4. This is just a bit of a sneak preview. There will be more. The update is nowhere near completion, so there's still a lot more work to do. First of all, let's go to the level editor. You can see here that there are a few changes. First of all, you can hear the background music is a little bit different. It's a new guitar theme. Let me know if you like this theme better than the old ones. The other thing that's new here is that the buttons here at the sides are now colored. I think color gives the game a little bit more soul, it looks a little nicer in my opinion. Let me know if you prefer the colored version to the monochrome version that was there before. These buttons are colored not only in the editor, but pretty much everywhere throughout the game where you see these old buttons which were monochrome, you'll see colored versions nowadays in the new version. I've also added a new destruction animation for destructible blocks. So you can see here, when I shoot this cream-colored destructible block, the little particles will bounce around and collide with other things in the level. If I do this a bunch of times, I have a lot of particles. Now what's even cooler is if I'm using a mine. If I use a mine, these little blocks will just fly everywhere. It's really crazy and, in my opinion, really cool. Isn't that a satisfying animation? I think so. I'm just gonna blow up these blocks because I can. Delicious. Another new thing here that I'll be showing you is that I've added two new tanks. First of all, we have the light blue tank. You can see it right here. So the light blue tank, what it does is that it blows air towards you. The air will push back bullets and tanks. All bullets, no tanks. Now, you might have seen this before. This was indeed inspired by the fan tank from Wii Tanks, spelled with two E's. I just tried to see if I could make my own version here. And I think this version is pretty cool. It was a bit tricky to code because making these bullet trails curve was not as easy as it might seem. That being said, I think it turned out pretty well. And these tanks won't attack you if you're far away, so the strategy is to just shoot them from far away. Another little Easter egg here, well, more like a cool little feature, is that if I put some shrubbery here, some bushes, the wind will blow the leaves off of these bushes. It's just a cool effect, I thought. Would add a little bit more immersion, I guess. Make the game a bit cooler. But yeah, that is the light blue tank. Now let me show you the other tank that I've added. This tank is a homing bullet tank, and it's something I wanted to add for a very long time to this game actually. From very early versions I've been thinking about adding these tanks, and now we have them. The main thing holding me back was, again, the lack of bullets that can curve. Now that we have curving bullets, we can make these homing tanks too. Now these homing tanks are a little special in that the way they shoot their bullets is unlike how any other tanks shoot bullets. They'll shoot at you even if they don't have a straight line of sight or a reflecting path. I'll show you a bit more about how that works in a moment. For now, you can admire how the bullets curve and destroy me. You can see that if we just pause the game for a second, these tanks shoot a ray in whichever way they're facing, and wherever that ray hits, that ray shoots another ray towards the player or whatever they're wanting to target. And if it can hit the player with that ray, then it'll know that it can shoot. This isn't perfect, but do we really want the tanks to be perfect? No, probably. We want them to have a little bit of weaknesses. So yeah, these tanks are kind of dangerous. They'll be worth 10 coins, so they're not support tanks, they're pretty main tanks, whereas the light blue tanks are a lot more support tanks, so they're only worth 4 coins. These bullets are quite deadly. You have to be very careful when you're fighting them, because otherwise they'll completely demolish you. It's kind of funny how they'll start orbiting you if you can dodge them. You know, maybe I'll add an achievement, return to sender or something like that, when I add achievements of making a homing bullet attack its own owner, the salmon tank that shot it. So that's the 2 new tanks, the salmon tank and the light blue tank. That's pretty cool, isn't it? But I think you wish you had a few more tanks than just these 2, you know? You've been waiting all these months and just 2 new tanks. Kind of boring, don't you think? What if you had 5 more tanks? 10 more tanks? What about unlimited more tanks? Well, it's another feature I've been thinking about for a while and wanted to add, and I've actually been working on this for a very long time, a few months. This is the tank editor. So first we can choose a tank to serve as our template, the base. So I really like the mustard tank, you know. The mustard tank is amazing. So here we just made a custom clone of the mustard tank, which we can mess around with. Let's call it mustard. I don't know how to spell, but cool. So this is a cool version of the mustard tank. Now let's make it worth 40 coins. And I think the mustard tanks in the base game are a little bit too, you know, easy. Easy is the right word. So let's give them 10 hit points. And let's change their appearance a bit. Let's give them an emblem, this little plus. And I'll give it a color for its emblem too. You know, you can see tanks like the medic tank have emblems, and you can see this tank has an emblem now. So the cool thing about this tank editor is that it lets you change the colors of each of the tank parts individually. So you can change the turret base, which is this little square up here. Let's make it be red. 255, 0 for green, and 0 for blue. Now you have, hang on, we have to enable the custom color too. Now we have a red turret base. Now let's change the turret barrel to be orange. To make the color orange, we do 255, 127, 0. And this isn't the most intuitive way to select colors, and I know that. I'll be giving you the same way of selecting colors that you can select for your player tank with those sliders and everything. I think those are a lot better. And for the tank body, let's just make it full out yellow. You can also change the models of each of these parts. Right now you only have 2 choices, the base one and the checkerboard one from the mimic tank. So let's select the mimic tank checkerboard one, and now we have our new and improved mustard tank. You can change a few more things too, like I think the mustard tank was a little bit too easy, so let's make it invisible too. And, you know, let's make it bigger, because bigger is better. And now we can have, we can take a look at the fun stuff. So, I've always wanted a moving mustard tank. I think everyone's always wanted a moving mustard tank. I think, you know, stationary mustard tanks are just a thing of the past. You know, no one really likes stationary mustard tanks. We need motion. So, you can change the movement settings here. Threat avoidance, we will obviously make it avoid threats. We'll make the mustard tank try to see you, and once it can see you, it will approach you. So basically, they'll hunt you down once they see you. And let's make them hunt you down when they don't see you either, by adding pathfinding. Everyone loves a mustard tank that will come over to you and hunt you down. This is totally not a thing of your nightmares or anything. It's just, you know, another mustard tank. The mustard tank, but properly balanced. You know, I think this is a good mustard tank. Very balanced one. How could we make it more balanced? Let's make it spawn tanks. Yeah, it can spawn tanks. You can't select what it spawns right now. It'll just spawn random tanks, but you'll be able to do that in the future. And we need to change the bullets it's firing too. You know, I always thought that just one bullet was boring, so let's make it shoot 3. 3 bullets, I think that's good. And I think these bullets need to be a little bit, I think we always wanted a little bit of bouncing to these mustard tanks. Let's make them just a little bit more oomph. Firing pattern, we won't mess with that right now. Firing behavior, you can change how you want them to shoot at you. I don't think we should mess with this right now, but you can do all sorts of cool stuff here. And, oh yeah, the cooldown, oh my goodness, this is just boring. Base cooldown, let's make the base cooldown be 50, that's half a second. So this cooldown is in hundredths of a second. So, and random, so it'll fire every 50 to 100 centiseconds. That's every half to 1 second. Now we have to make sure we change the maximum live bullets to be more accommodating for these changes. And what now? I think this is pretty balanced, but pretty fair. Mines, let's just have it not put mines. Because, yeah. Spawning tanks, yes. Last stand ability, no. That's the ability that medics use, and gold tanks once all of their allies are gone, where they just explode themselves. And now we have our newly improved mustard tank. Just what I wanted. My whole life, all I ever needed was a mustard tank with a little bit more oomph to it. Let's add a little bit of wall here, so we have a little bit of defense. Just kidding, they're mustard tanks. They can shoot over walls. They have the defense now. So now our beautiful, invisible, absolutely chaotic mustard tanks are gonna shoot at us. And oh my goodness, this is complete chaos. Ah, I got zapped. That's a shame. Let's try again. The mustard tank spawned another mustard tank. How lovely. Oh, that didn't even last a few seconds. That's a shame. Goodness gracious. You know, I think we need to make this level a little bit fairer. Let's add a little bit of a zap item here, an electric shock. Zap-o-matic. 5,000. And it's called 5,000 because it has 5,000 bounces, obviously. Damage, 10. Obviously. And give us 100 of them, because more is better. Now let's play. Let's zap-o-matic the heck out of these tanks. Oh, there we go. Now that's what I call a nice battle. Anyway, that's not all. Though I am looking forward to seeing what you will all make with this new tank editor. I have to show you one last thing. And you saw this in the previous update video. The previous video I uploaded showed this feature in the background, which is the Crusade animation here. Where once you see a Crusade here, when you see the Crusade details menu, you can see all the levels scroll by. And, you know, last time you all got to watch me get humiliated by this level. Now you can see these central blocks are pink, they're bouncy. Why? Well, you know, I figured if I ever made another video, I wouldn't want to get humiliated again. Now, that's not the actual reason. The reason is I want to be nice to you all. I want to not make you all rage over that level, which was much harder than it needed to be, in my opinion, really. So yeah, I think you'll enjoy it more than the previous one. So many falling points. Well, that's all I have to show you now for this update, but there will be more to come. And if you want to check out the preview builds, you can join the Tanks Discord, which I will link. That's all I have to say for now, so goodbye and I hope you have a nice day.